Mr. Speaker, as I rise to participate in the debate of this motion for the approval of the estimate for the public sector and budget for the financial year 2016, Mr. Speaker, I would like to just pause a minute to to react to some statement made by the honorable member when he spoke about crime. Mr. Speaker, I refer to crime. Since 2000, under the Jagdeo regime, under the regime of the previous administration, crime became a nightmare between 2002 and 2008. Some 500 persons were killed by armed gangs. A minister was slaughtered. Mr. Speaker, for the benefit of the honorable members on that side, I will repeat my statement. I refer to the crime that was evident during the period 2000, 2008.
Honorable members, the Speaker will read, for what it is worth, of course, from the standing orders that all honorable members are wont to refer to from time to time. It's under the Standing Order 45, rules for members not speaking. I think we need to be careful. A member shall maintain silence when another member is speaking and shall not interrupt except in accordance with these standing orders. These are the standing orders of honorable members. When honorable members came to this assembly, I think the standing orders would have been one of the instruments which enabled their presence here and their continued presence here. I only read it for members to make what they wish of it. For the Speaker, it means that you will pay respect to the person speaking, whether from your side or from the other side. Members are sometimes, I've noticed that some members do not care where the honorable member is speaking, from which side of the House. I do not wish to call members' names at this time, but if you must feel compelled to speak, then perhaps you might speak within your immediate vicinity and not disturb the Speaker. Honourable Member, you have the floor.
Mr. Speaker, as I was mentioning, I referred to the crime situation ranging between 2000 and 2008, where some 500 persons were killed by armed gangs. A minister was slaughtered, a diplomat was kidnapped, there were extrajudicial killings, there were death squad. Guyana became a killing field under the PPP. Peaceful unarmed citizens were killed, and the minister responsible then refused to resign. Mr. Speaker, I'm going to also enlighten the honorable member that spoke in relation to the Gaisuku that the achievements that he mentioned about Gaisuku in 2015 was under this administration. Under this administration with improved production. And it's because this administration, under the wise leadership of the Minister of Agriculture, allow managers to manage. So it was because of management expertise, that is why the scaled down factory was successful. Mr. Speaker, I now turn my attention to the substantive debate of the motion, and I must say that I offer congratulations to my colleague Minister, the Honorable Minister Winston Jordan, on delivering Budget 2016 on January 29, 2016, which were compiled in less than 6 months after delivering Budget 2015 on August 10, 2015. Mr. Speaker, Budget 2016 was presented on the theme Stimulating Growth, Restoring Confidence, the Good Life Beckons. I have no doubt that our coalition government will achieve these goals. In this, our 50th independence or celebration, our Golden Jubilee that was designated by His Excellency is the year of Renaissance. Mr. Speaker, this simply means a revival of our renewed interest in our pledge to make our cherished homeland a place of unity, security, and prosperity. Mr. Speaker, there are periods in the history of a nation where historians from the vintage ground of latter age identifies as being a watershed in development of that nation. This period would be said in a general way to mark the end of one era and the beginning of a new one. They will witness the changes of outmoded laws, the disintegration of alien value systems, the triumph of new human concept of social organization and interrelationships, and emergence of new norms that are more consistent with prevalent national culture. They are characterized by an upsurge of creative activity, a likely interplay with fresh and novel ideas, a spirit of bold experimentation and innovation, and a pervasive confidence that manifests itself in the enthusiasm and energetic way in which the masses involve themselves in the task of nation building. Mr. Speaker, this surge of creative activities commenced with Budget 2015, a fresh approach to good life in the green economy. Mr. Speaker, Budget 2015 set the platform for the government vision of the Corporate Republic of Ghana for the year 2020 and beyond. It provided measures to ease the financial burden of the citizens while improving the livelihood conditions of these. And some of these measures are an increase in the minimum wage from 39,540 to 50,000, representing a 26.4% increase. All public servants above the minimum wage receive a 5% increase plus a 5,000, allowing for greater increase in the lower income bracket. There was 54% increase in the hourly rate paid to school sweeper cleaners. Workers no longer had to pay income tax and an NIS contribution. Old age pension increased from 13,125 to 17,000, representing a 30% increase. There was a 10% increase in public assistance from 5,900 to 6,500. Increase in uniform allowance from 15,000 to 2,000. Mr. Speaker, these and many more was said in Budget 2015, the platform that this administration built on. Mr. Speaker, Budget 2016 was crafted in keeping with the fresh approach, Vision 2020, and the policies of the APNU government that was adumbrated by His Excellency addressed to the National Assembly on January 14, 2016, under the theme Independence and Resilience, our people path to economic progress. And I quote, Mr. Speaker, "It is time for a fresh start, a new beginning. It's time for us to redouble our effort to eradicate poverty. Our government is committed to promoting sustained economic growth with enhanced distributive justice that inequalities are reduced and opportunity are increased. Our vision is for every Guyanese to be able to enjoy a good life. Achieving a good life is not a wish or a dream. It requires a greater equality of opportunity in order to attain economic growth. A good life is about removing inequality and providing opportunity for every Guyanese to be the best he or she can be." End of quote. Mr. Speaker, as you would realize, that this is what this AP and UFC government is about. And it's about breaking inequality and equal rights of one and all. Mr. Speaker, I noticed when the Honourable Minister of Finance concluded his budget speech, the Honourable Member of the Opposition, the Honourable Members of the Opposition, that is, Mr. Speaker, they appear confused. And after listening to the presentation, the honorable members are still confused. They're trying to figure out what really happened, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm going to say the reason for this is confusion. And this confusion, Mr. Speaker, stemmed by the PPPC knowing for a fact that when they demitted office, they leave the consolidated bank account in an overdraft, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the old consolidated bank account had an overdraft of $46.4 billion in 2004. And Mr. Speaker, the new consolidated bank account at May 8, 2015, Mr. Speaker, had an overdraft of $27.8 billion. Mr. Speaker, my analysis of the consolidated account show that the consolidated account was in overdraft and consistent overdraft growing at the time of 2014, late December 2014, approaching the elections. It means that the PPPC administration was in a spending spree, Mr. Speaker, and this basically the spend out all of the money was no money for us. So when we presented budget 2015 and budget 2016, you know now why they were confused. Yes. Because they wanted to know where all these good things was coming from. Mr. Speaker, the APUFC budget measures in support of programs of greening the economy and protecting the environment. Mr. Speaker, one would thought that budget 2016 would have received the unequivocal support from the honorable leader of the opposition, who received United Nations Environmental Program UNEP Champion of the Earth Award and a $40,000 in April 2010. However, it appears that the champion of the earth wants to be the champion of the poor. Mr. Speaker, this kind of poor that this new champion of the poor is representing apparently can afford to buy a vehicle that is over 12 years old that costs $3 million dollars, an SUV for over $10 million, but cannot afford to purchase a new tire at a reduced cost. Mr. Speaker, the champion of the poor, I could say, this champion of the poor never bought a 12-year-old SUV or used tire for his vehicle. As a matter of fact, if the cameras can turn its lens to the vehicle outside that the honorable member on that side drove in this compound, they will notice that they are vehicles under 3 years old and have new tires. Matter of fact, they're new vehicle, new tires. The place look like New York, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, these champions of the poor in the opposition, when they were in office for 23 years, they never sought to make it possible for the working class to afford a new car and an SUV at a reduced cost by reducing simply the excise taxes. Mr. Speaker, under the APNU-AFC government, the working class can enjoy a good life of owning a new vehicle with new tires and having the sense of security at a reduced cost. Mr. Speaker, today, before attending the assembly, I decided to browse the internet and to check on the price for vehicle because listen to the opposition. I was confused and of the position that indeed the drop in the removal or reduction in the excise tax will indeed cause hardship on people's lives. So they had me convinced too. So I checked the internet, Mr. Speaker, and Mr. Speaker, I could tell you this, Mr. Speaker. I look at a vehicle that the leader of the opposition, I think, had spoke about, the Toyota Primo, and Mr. Speaker, believe it or not, a vehicle of that nature, 1500 cc, with a CIF of 4,099, 4,099,000 Guyana dollars will attract custom duties of 1.8 million and excise tax of 1.7 million and a VAT of 1.2 million. Mr. Speaker, the grand total for such vehicle will be 8.9 million. However, this is the argument that I put to the people, so I was caught in that. When I checked, Mr. Speaker, a 1800 cc Primo, the CIF is actually lower, is $2 million for the vehicle. So these figures are given you is under the regime of the PPP, where the excise tax was applicable. So in this case here, when you apply the excise tax, the VAT, and the custom duty, the vehicle will turn out to be 5 million Guyana dollars. So a vehicle with a larger engine is cheaper than a vehicle with a smaller engine. And this is because the people in the modern world is going for a smaller vehicle, a more gas efficient, fuel efficient vehicle. So, Mr. Speaker, when I checked now with the reduction in the excise tax, if you look at that vehicle for 1500 cc, where you would be paying 1.7, now you're not paying 1.7. As a result of the removal of the excise tax, the VAT will also reduce. So when I compare the prices, Mr. Speaker, and I'm going to share this information with the media, when I compare the price for that same vehicle of 1500 cc, the saving will be $2 million. If you buy an 1800 cc vehicle, yes, correct. If you check the larger vehicle, Mr. Speaker, that vehicle that under the regime that presently exists in with the excise tax, which is causing our people 5 million for a 2012, this is a 2012 vehicle, Mr. Speaker, will cost 3.7 million, a saving of 1.3 million. So, Mr. Speaker, those information that was being peddled by the opposition is untruth, Mr. Speaker, and I think they owe an apology to this nation for misguiding them, misleading them, and you know, and not allowing the people to have a good life. So, Mr. Speaker, I will share this with the media if they're so interested. Mr. Speaker, I turn my attention to the area of stimulating growth. Mr. Speaker, one of the first steps in restoring confidence is to make sure the country know the government plan early in the year. That is why the Honourable Minister Jardine moved to present an early budget. Mr. Speaker, there's a lot of implications for not having an early budget. And some of them, Mr. Speaker, are the country and the people of the country will have to wait and will be in a wait and see mood. Because of a late budget, the people of the country will be in a wait and see mood of what the budget will deliver for almost 3 to 4 months of the year until the debate is over. And we experienced this with the PVPC budget to this National Assembly in March, and you have to wait till April to see what is happening. So with the early budget, this will be removed. Mr. Speaker, budget agencies themselves are unable to start new capital projects. Only rollover projects until the budget is passed. Mr. Speaker, budget agency is left with 8 months to deliver a 12 months budget, along with the challenge of rainy seasons and also related infrastructure difficulties with contractors, difficulty in acquiring the related material. So these are the difficulties and what you don't want to have a late budget. You want an early budget, and the honourable member Ali was also referring to implementation crisis. With an early budget, no implementation crisis. With a late budget, you will have implementation crisis. This will also aid the private sector to organize the business and operate to take advantage of the opportunity presented in this budget early in the year, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, private sector welcome an early budget because they could forecast and they could do what they need to do, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, last year our government achieved positive growth against a backdrop of a domestic economy still recovering from uncertainty surrounding the pre- and post-election period. A relatively weak sugar industry, a rice industry that was artificially cushioned by the over-independence on Venezuelan market, low prices for bauxite on the world market, and also a few challenges, as you know, Mr. Speaker, that we had on our plates. Mr. Speaker, our government deliberate policy for many of these key sectors that saw, Mr. Speaker, unbelievable 12 billion injection to maintain the sugar industry. Also together served to achieve a 3% growth. A further 9 billion injection into Gaisuku will see us growing even more higher rate in 2016 based on our coalition government intervention. This budget will see a significant increase in expenditure on infrastructure. More than 70% increase in expenditure on construction will serve to create jobs and increase disposable income. And those involved in construction and the supply of goods and services and their families will benefit. In addition, small contractors will benefit from 20% of all contracts awarded, therefore benefiting from the national pie. On an annual basis, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this particular section of the law was somehow not implemented by the previous administration. This administration will ensure it's implemented, and this is one way of creating jobs and helping the economy, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the implementation of this $230 billion budget will happen against the backdrop of improved procurement system. And this will help with the implementation difficulty the Honorable Member Ali was referring to. This government has reviewed the tendering limits and increased them to allow a greater share of public procurement to take place in regional and ministerial tendering level. What was not said, Mr. Speaker, by the many speakers that spoke, that the tender limit was increased also at the community level, moving it to $5 million. It means that those communities, those Amerindian communities, indigenous communities, could tender for a contract for $5 million, which will alleviate poverty in those communities, Mr. Speaker. And I refer to the appendix 12 and 13 on page 89 and 90. These ministerial regional tender boards are currently chaired by the head of budget agency, therefore the permanent secretary, regional executive officer, and follows the structure as prescribed in Procurement Act and Regulation, which precludes any minister political involvement, which is contrary to what the opposition was peddling, that there's improved tender limits, increased tender limits, and ministers will be stealing. But ministers are not part of a ministerial tender board. In light of these revised thresholds, this government is taking decisive action to ensure successful implementation of the new threshold. We will, Mr. Speaker, 1, conduct training of over 400 procurement personnel, starting with the first batch of 50 on 11th of February, which will focus on all 10 regional tender board. 2, conduct training for all regional accounting personnel and sub-treasury officer. 3, conduct training in public procurement tendering, where contractors and suppliers will be trained in preparing documents, and they will know the shortfalls and the loopholes that will prevent them from being awarded with a contract. And this is a serious issue, Mr. Speaker. Many contractors are disqualified because they don't know about the way to fill out a procurement document. 4, with effect from early February, official help desk has been established with telephone number 227-0094 for everyone who has queries of procurement to call the help desk for information and guidance. 5, The National Tender Board and Procurement Arbitration Board will be able to conduct a ground monitoring and intend to visit each procuring entity at least once per quarter. In addition, the new form inspectorate unit within the Ministry of Public Infrastructure will complement the strengthening government monitoring capabilities on the ground. Honorable Minister Patterson will speak further on that tomorrow. 6. MP Tab website will publish all awards value $1.5 million and above, while budget agency will be required to display on their notice boards awards below this value. Transparency, Mr. Speaker, transparency, something that was lacking for many decades. Mr. Speaker, another bugbear in the procurement system has been the absence of bid protest committees, which has denied suppliers and contractors any immediate formal, transparent process of redress. Mr. Speaker, it's anticipated that this will be in place by March 16. All of these improvements will serve to accelerate the pace of implementation, so this budget will see higher rate of project implementation and faster growth. Mr. Speaker, Budget 2016 has allocated resources to construct, rehabilitate, and maintain roads, bridges, schools, hospitals, health centers, and drainage irrigation infrastructure that was never done before in the history, Mr. Speaker. So we're saying these things was done, but we are focusing heavily on this, and the budget will support, the numbers will support our position, Mr. Speaker. This is a stimulus in itself. They're calling for stimulus, they're calling for works. This is a stimulus for this country, Mr. Speaker. And they're not saying this. Mr. Speaker, I'm just referring to one sector, and that was the construction sector. When we add the impact of the diversification of agriculture sector, the investment in the tourism marketing initiative, expansion in the gold subsector, the billions being invested in our hinterland region, indigenous people, the reform of GRA and Go Invest initiatives for youth employment and expansion of the small business sector, how can anyone doubt the realization of the achievement of the goals of Budget 2016? I can go on, Mr. Speaker, but I will leave this for the various sectoral ministers to elaborate further.
Honourable Member, you have 5 minutes remaining.
Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the honourable member be given 5 additional minutes. And
I thank the honourable member. Honourable member, Honourable Member Sharma.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
You will be allowed to speak for 35 minutes. Please
Thank you,
proceed.
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me focus my attention on accountability and transparency. Later this month, we will be receiving support from the Commonwealth Secretary to improve our system and structure for internal audit across the government. There will be improved strengthening the Budget Agency and Public Accounts Committee and related stakeholders in expanding the coverage of internal audit across government. Strong systems of internal control will reduce mismanagement and corruption practice and help to build a robust public sector. Strong system of internal control will reduce mismanagement, corruption practice, and help to build robust public sectors. Forensic audit, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the audits identify many instances in which the law governing the entity and its operation violated with impunity the Fiscal Management Accountability Act and Procurement Act. These internal forensic audits, to say the least, Mr. Speaker, were revealing, and it was astonishing. The finding uncovered many instances of dishonesty, deficiency, discrepancies, some of which were never highlighted in the report of the Auditor General, and the consequent and consequently, the National Assembly, and by extension, the people of Guyana, never knew the truth about the financial operation, mismanagement, and excesses that were taking place in these entities. Therefore, my opinion, Mr. Speaker, there are sufficient evidence in these audits to suggest that they were deliberate, premeditated plan of corruption. To support charges of conspiracy, it could be charges in relation to deceiving, fraud acts, misfeasance, malfeasance, nonfeasance in public office, political corruptions. Mr. Speaker, these audits will soon be posted on the Ministry of Finance website.
Honourable Member.
Yes, Speaker. On a point of order. The Honourable Minister is imputing that in some report that he has in his possession.
Honourable Member, you should at least address the standing order under which you have interrupted the debate.
48.
48.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
I don't think it's 48.
The Honourable Minister is imputing that he is in possession of some audit report that suggests corruption, political corruption, dishonesty, and premeditated acts to deceive in relation to public funds. We are not in possession of any such report, Mr. Speaker. And from the reports,
Honourable Member, what is the point of order?
the point of order is that the Honourable Member is quoting from a document that is not publicly available. We don't know what he's quoting from. These audit reports was reported in the media as not completed and not made public as yet.
I thank the Honourable Member for his statement. Honourable Member, you will refrain from quoting from a document which is purportedly an official document but which is not available to other members here.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm the minister responsible, and I'm reporting on my portfolio. And I said it's in my opinion. It's in my opinion. This is not the auditor opinion.
Honourable Member, if you distinguish between your opinion and a document from which you're quoting, I do not believe honourable members will be disquieted about it. But if you are using the document here to inform the House, there is reason to object to that.
There's no document here, Mr. Speaker. It's my opinion, in which, when I reviewed, my job was to review, and I did review. Thank you. Okay. Okay, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, to continue wages and salaries. Mr. Speaker, it was this coalition government that raised the minimum wage to $50,000 in August last year, with some person receiving 25% increase on salaries as a result. It was this coalition that awarded 5% increase plus an additional $5,000 to public servant 2015. It was this coalition that awarded $50,000 one-off payment to all those public servants earning less than $500,000. And it is this coalition government that will engage the union in 2016 to help determine the salary increase to be awarded. These increases awarded to date to public servants have aimed to improve the disposable income of the lower levels and increase the threshold complement that the poor are not neglected. Our coalition government has kept its promise to improve salary, and salaries are improved and will be improved further with 2016. In closing, I urge all members of this House to support Budget 2016, stimulating growth, restoring confidence. The good life beckons. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.